Nowadays, Ahsoka Tano is a fan favorite character, but that wasn't always so. When Star Wars The Clone Wars first came out, most fans absolutely despised her, deeming her annoying in an unfortunate variety of ways. But as the show went on, most fans' attitudes towards Ahsoka changed because of her character evolution. Ahsoka's character arc ended up being one of the best in the show, and today we're going to examine an important part of her arc that tends to be forgotten. In this chapter in our series on underrated Clone Wars episodes and arcs, we'll be looking at the 11th episode of Season 2, Lightsaber Lost.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Before we begin, we highly encourage you to pause this video and actually re-watch the episode. Don't worry, we'll be waiting for you when you get back. If you've watched the episode just now, feel free to fast forward to the start of the next video chapter here on YouTube. If not, let's quickly recap what happened in the episode. Lightsaber Lost begins with Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano on a routine mission in Coruscant's underworld. While Anakin is arresting an arms dealer in a bar, Ahsoka stands guard outside, only to be mobbed when patrons flee the place when a fight breaks out. In the chaos that ensues, a thief snags Ahsoka's lightsaber and disappears. Fearing her master's anger, Ahsoka seeks the help of Jocasta Nu, the Jedi Archivist, who directs her to Terra Sinub, an elder Jedi who is an expert on the Coruscant underworld. Sinub helps Ahsoka identify the thief and insists on going with her to track him down, as he believes Ahsoka is trying to do things too quickly. Thanks to Sinub's guidance, Ahsoka finds the thief, only to learn that he's already sold the lightsaber to Nak Movers, a known killer. The Jedi track him down next, only to find that Movers had been killed. Ahsoka's lightsaber has fallen into the hands of the acrobatic thief Cassie Cryer, who manages to evade Ahsoka, but the Jedi manage to catch up with her thanks to Sinub, who planted a tracker on Cryer's accomplice. The Jedi cut the criminals off at a train station, and Ahsoka finally retrieves her lightsaber, having learned a valuable lesson in patience. It may or may not surprise you to learn that Ahsoka Tano was, at first, intentionally written to be annoying. The writers of the Clone Wars knew that, no matter how they wrote Ahsoka, the fans were going to hate her at first, because she was a new insertion into a familiar main cast. With this in mind, they gave Ahsoka a magnet for fan hatred. These were all traits that made Ahsoka annoying at first, with her smug attitude, her abrasiveness, and her cockiness being the most notable of such. All of these are legitimate character flaws that the writers knew they could dispose of later as part of Ahsoka's character development, leading fans to overcome their dislike of the character, which, of course, was exactly what happened. Over the course of the first 2 seasons of the show, many of Ahsoka's flaws are whittled away as she learns from her experiences in the Clone Wars, with her finally becoming a much more mature and capable Jedi. In Storm over Ryloth, which we've dissected in the past, Ahsoka learns the hard way that her actions can get others killed. In the season premiere, Holocron Heist, she learns the value of listening to others and not rushing into fights. But what makes Lightsaber Lost so important is that it caps off the previous lessons Ahsoka's learned and completes the first leg of her character arc. The lesson of this episode is glaringly obvious. If you slow down and pay attention instead of rushing into things, you'll have an easier time solving your problems. It's equally obvious that this is a lesson Ahsoka desperately needs, as she spends most of the episode going about things much too fast to notice important details. This is, in part, a result of her anxiety over losing her lightsaber, but more so, it's a pre-existing character flaw. Lightsaber Lost provides Ahsoka a foil in the form of Terra Sinub, who moves slowly due to his age, even on a speeder, which we are sure the Coruscanti commuters who were just trying to get to work on time didn't appreciate. Through this contrast, Sinub helps show Ahsoka the virtue of taking things slowly. All of that is really basic analysis, but what if we were to tell you that there was more to all of this than meets the eye? In isolation, Ahsoka's behavior in this episode comes off as a mix of anxiety and the usual trope of the overeager teenager. But that's not the case. Hastiness was Ahsoka's defining character flaw from her very first appearance. Most of her other character flaws stemmed from it. It made her reckless, overconfident, and confrontational. Almost all of the mistakes she makes in the earlier seasons are a result of Ahsoka being impatient and moving along too fast. On Christosis, on Felucia, and above Ryloth, she rushes into fights and makes matters worse because of it. Ahsoka learns lessons from each of those mistakes, chipping away at some of her secondary flaws, but she never addresses the core problem until Terra Sanub forces her to. As a quick aside, it's worth noting that Ahsoka only really starts to listen to Sanub thanks to Cassie Cryer, the acrobatic thief who looks like she belongs in a Tim Burton film. In Cryer, Ahsoka is faced with an enemy that's faster than she is, someone that no amount of Jedi speed or hastiness will allow her to catch. Cryer beats Ahsoka at her own game, forcing her to seek out alternate strategies. Ahsoka found herself in a situation where she was inevitably going to end up slower, whether she wanted to or not, and so she made more of an effort understanding how to win by moving more slowly. It shouldn't be surprising that Ahsoka's defining flaw in the early seasons is hastiness. She's a child being raised on the battlefield, sent to command troops in battle at just 14 years old. In a situation like that, speed is of the essence, and slowing down can get you killed. This is likely why Anakin and Obi-Wan never seem to treat her hastiness as a problem. They know that, in war, being too fast is usually better than being too slow, and so they try and guide Ahsoka into taking more calculated risks instead of just slowing down. In Lightsaber Lost, Ahsoka isn't on the battlefield anymore, but she's still thinking like she is, because it's what she's used to. Lightsaber Lost isn't just meant to teach a quick lesson and develop Ahsoka along the way. It addresses Ahsoka's biggest character flaw, allowing her to confront it and move past it. This is the episode in which Ahsoka stops being the annoying teenager we were introduced to on Christosis and starts being the mature Jedi we all know and love. It's the end of an arc for her, and after this episode, character development for Ahsoka shifts from her confronting her flaws to expanding her horizons. It's worth noting that hastiness is a flaw that Anakin struggles with as well, and unlike Ahsoka, Anakin never really confronts it. Indeed, it could be argued that Anakin actually made this flaw worse for Ahsoka in Season 1, either tacitly or overtly, encouraging it at various points. From Terra Sanub, Ahsoka learns a lesson that her master could never teach, because he himself never really learned it either. That's another shift Ahsoka makes in this episode. She's starting to move out from under Anakin's shadow, developing in ways he never really did. Sanub, in a way, helps Ahsoka become her own person. Furthermore, Ahsoka internalizes the lesson of this episode enough to be able to teach it to the younglings at the end. That's another major step for the character, as chronologically, this is the first time she teaches anyone anything. It's a sign that she's learned enough to pass her wisdom on to others. Even if she's just parroting what she just learned from Sanub in this scene, it's a subtle indication to the audience that Ahsoka isn't just a learner anymore, but someone who can make valuable contributions on her own as well. She's grown up, and in the episodes that follow, we begin to really see her shine. So, that's our look at Lightsaber Lost, a Season 2 Clone Wars episode you might have forgotten. But what do you think? Are you enjoying this series so far? What did you think of Lightsaber Lost? Let us know all that and more in the comment section below. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next underrated Clone Wars Arcs video.